Bartiromo and that crowd are huge fans of this Trump thing about him calling Biden crooked or some shit again. Like, oh God.
His own family. I care about enriching your family, and you.
And you so much.
I will be retiring. Then I'm going to report.
We don't care. We watched this yesterday.
Biden yesterday. That was former President Donald Trump announcing his new nickname for President Biden yesterday.
Yeah, breaking news. A nickname, terrific. You're carrying that as your lead story, are you? That's your. Hey, Maria, what was your chunk of the 787 million? What was it? I'm gonna go with over 50%.
During his New Hampshire campaign rally, a new
rally. No.
Harvard Caps Harris poll finds a majority, 56% of voters, believe that the Biden family received millions of dollars from sources linked to the Chinese Communist Party.
They didn't. So blow me.
44% believe they did not. Kelly O'Grady, your reaction.
Well, this is one of my favorite parts of election season.
Oh, dear God. I'm sorry. I was not prepared for Stepford shock. It's the Real Housewives of Biden derangement syndrome
that come out of this are always entertaining. And so I think, we saw that crooked Hillary worked well. And so this is a smart tactic, I think.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, if you got it and it works, just tack it on to whoever.
For former President Trump to take.
Yeah, it works great. Crooked Maria, crooked Kelly, crooked O'Grady, crooked O'Grady. Sounds like a really off the radar gangster from the 30s.
You see President Biden not polling well on the economy, so now you start to introduce this question for voters, make them ask themselves, well, does he?
Yeah, you got to make them ask themselves. Also, notice how she is. She's effectively just announcing the propaganda.
He even have integrity? Is his family receiving money?
Yeah, we're just asking questions.
Money from China?
Yes. And if he's getting money from China, why is he fucking them in the eye socket?
Especially as we've been talking about all morning, they're becoming an increasingly bigger threat. So
are they?
I like the strategy from President Trump and the nickname. It's fun.
Well, it's fun. It's a good time. It's after and also the Iraq.
You know what, John? We now know that the House Oversight Committee has gone to the Treasury, has viewed the bank records that they have been subpoenaing, and they have reported that there were tens of millions of dollars that the Biden family has taken in from communist China.
From communist China and any businesses that are done in communist. So notice how broad the language is getting all of a sudden. Now, Trump took tens of millions of dollars from communist China while he was fucking president, as did his kids. During the time he was president, actively. But, you know what? I shouldn't have brought it up.
And we also know, because James Comer told me last week on Sunday Morning Futures, that he is probing 6 specific decisions that Joe Biden made as potentially the reason that he was paid that money. 6 decisions that...
Oh, yeah? Which 6? Definitely not AUKUS. Definitely not the Chips and Science Act. Definitely not extending the tariffs. Definitely not adding more tariffs. Definitely not saying we would defend Taiwan. You got me. 6 of them. Fire away. What? Them getting to open a plant in Michigan, which they haven't opened or something?
And
the Foxconn plant?
Worked with Chinese regulators to implement new rules. So, hey, if the shoe fits...
He worked with Chinese regulators to implement new rules. New rules of what?
Swear it.
That's exactly right.
It's so right, whatever it is, whatever those 6 things are that you didn't mention, and those rules that changed in a way that we're not even aware they changed. You're so right.
American voters should realize that the Chinese government has invested millions of dollars in
getting skull-fucked by Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. And the Chinese government...
I honest to fucking God, I'm still... What is it? For fuck's sake, if there's so much obvious corruption, fucking say it. Trump kissed Vladimir Putin's ass nonstop. He ran interference on any limitation the Congress wanted to put on Russia. He held back the javelins because he was trying to manipulate Ukraine, which would have ultimately benefited Russia if they were teeing up their attack earlier. And because he lost, they had to punt it a year. What? Fucking what? What is it? Name one. I don't give a fuck if Comer said he's eyeballing 6 possible decisions. Just say fucking one.
Government will see to it that they get a positive return from this investment.
Like what, dum-dum? What? I honestly, God, just say it. I love all the vague language, but at some point, you got to go, this deal was because of this. Or shut the fuck up. We saw Donald Trump stand there and go, I don't know why it would be Russia. All that shit. Where he would back these foreign leaders, and you could tell that he thought there was going to be a payoff at the end of this shit because he thought he'd have 2 terms and then a bunch of towers and fucking capitals named after him and a battleship and all that bullshit. And it didn't happen. So now he's pissed. Fuck, this is dumb.
There's a close linkage between China and Biden.
In exchange for what?
Voters beware.
Of what? Beware of the guy that apparently, if everything you say is true, got China to pay him millions of dollars to ruin their future. Honest to God.
Yeah, well, look, we're going to keep watching this story. Obviously.
Yeah, same bullshit thing. $3 million amount Chinese energy firm paid Biden family associate. According to Rep. James Comer, Republican from Kentucky.
Obviously, because there's more to come. James Comer told
there's got to be, because there's nothing so far.
He thinks it's 12 family members of the Biden family that have.
Oh my God, 12 family members. This pie is getting divided up very thin. You do realize the more people that are involved, the smaller the money amount gets, the harder it is to believe that it was actually a purchase of influence instead of just China is and has been the factory of the world, and a lot of people do business there, and that's that. And now that's ending.
Actually been part of receiving money from LLCs, which received.
I love how it dwindled.
Money from the Chinese Communist Party. We'll see this as a major election theme in 2024.
No, we won't.
Now we understand South Carolina GOP Senator Tim Scott is going to be making his 2024 presidential run official by the end of next month. Scott announced an exploratory committee earlier this month,
Very exciting. Everybody's, there's a bunch of people jockeying to be Trump's Pence this time. That shit.
Florida Governor Ron
DeSantis. If he runs and gets some numbers, then he knows that Trump will choose him over her.
DeSantis is also expected to enter this race next.
Oh, yes. He's doing very well.
So, Kelly, things are about to expand. Donald Trump is now solidly on the lead in terms of the.
Is he on the lead? Is that, you mean a leash or?
The primaries. We'll see if anything changes in the coming months with.
Yes, you will, actually. That is always true. You will see if anything changes in the coming months. Only facts at Fox
Tim
Business.
Scott and Ron DeSantis joining the race.
Well, that's
Rhonda who?
That's right. I'm sure we'll see more nicknames, Maria, for his challengers. But something about Tim Scott, he's really going on a kill him with kindness campaign. I almost feel like it's very much I'm not Trump, very much I'm not going to go negative. I've noticed on some of his campaign stops, he's not, though, answering questions about what strict restrictions on abortion that he would support. He's being very vague. So when if he does jump in next month, he's going to have to be a lot more clear about what he stands for versus what he's not.
Yeah, if he wants to compete with Trump, he's going to have to tell the world that he believes women who have had abortions or who get abortions, even if they're for medical reasons, should be in prison, probably get the death penalty because, pro-life.
Yeah, at this point, I want to see what all of these candidates' plans are to tackle corruption. John.
Yeah. And by corruption, she means the Trump campaign.
And that's all that matters to so many people right now, because we've seen two systems of justice, two applications of the law. What is Ron DeSantis going to do? What is Tim Scott going to do to ensure?
Yeah, nothing. Okay.
Sure to put a check on this corruption in plain sight.
First,
this corruption in plain sight. And what she means by corruption in plain sight is Trump actually getting charged with crimes that he's committed. It's a travesty.
so you got to, yeah, exactly. You have to assure a level of a playing field. I mean, if you tolerate corruption by one group of people and on the other,
Dude, you're on thin fucking ice. You're dangerously close to realizing how full of shit all three of you are.
other hand, you're very much against it if somebody
Wait a minute. Somebody got excited. What the fuck was that? Listen for the zipper.
by one group of people, and on the other hand, you're very much against it if somebody else is.
What was that? I'm going to go with... Luckily, he was on camera when this happened, or he'd be the first suspect. I'm going to go with one of two purses.
Sure, a level of a playing field. I mean, if you tolerate corruption by one group of people, and on the other hand, you're very much against it if
That sounded like Up. I don't know.
somebody else is corrupt. I think what you're doing
Oh, that was down. Yeah, there was an up and then a down.
is you're reducing confidence, you're diminishing confidence in the law, and without respect for the law in this country, this democracy falls apart very quickly.
Right, and when rich people get away with crime just because they're rich for decades and decades, it's not a good look. And I'm glad you're coming around to realizing that Trump needs to go to fucking jail.
In addition to corruption, I think it's critically important that the candidate impresses voters that indeed.
Boring. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the boring Republican race for president. Just boring.